Hello. How are you guys? Good morning. Let's see. Let's hope it doesn't bounce me out again like it did last time. Let's see. I am like furiously getting ready some last minute things because I thought of maybe sewing a practice zipper fly today because I haven't for a month and I want to look like I know what I'm doing in front of you, so I'll do a practice one. So I was just cutting out those pieces really quickly and my machine's not quite set up, so I'm going to do that first and get my thread with the right color. I could actually do that a little bit later since we're probably not going to sew right away. But I don't want to forget, so I can get my spool going. How are you guys doing? Does everything look okay? I moved the camera over to the left now. Did I do that last time? I may have done that last time, actually. Oh, maybe not because we were doing the jeans then. But just tell me. I can move things around for you. And how is the lighting and all that and sound? So just let me know because I can adjust things. All right, getting my blue thread on here. I have to say, one of my least favorite things to do in front of you guys is change my thread, and I don't know why that is. Hi, Malin. How's it going? Nice to see you. Okay, I'm actually really into this whole slow sewing of these pants. Partly it's because I feel like I don't have to create more things to sew for you guys, and I don't want to end up with a ton of clothes. But also because I just like delving into the details, and I realize how much I'm doing that I'm not mentioning at the time I'm doing it, because it's just things you don't talk about how you make toast. Hi, Ida. How's it going? So, like when you're making a toast, you might not remember to tell someone to adjust the darkness, So it's that kind of thing. So here's the backs that we did on Saturday, right? Saturday, right? Yeah, exactly. They turned out great. I'm pretty excited about them. And here's the pair of ginger jeans that I did before on camera. So they've been washed a bunch. Maybe I should lighten up the... Oh, yeah, no. Oh, yeah, I know that one, Malin. Trust me. My daughter just turned 16, though, on Sunday. So she's pretty eager to get her driver's license. Which can happen right after Christmas time here. So, yeah, she's pretty excited about that. I'm excited about it for her, but at the same time, I feel like I'm going to see even less of her, because she'll have more freedom once she has a ability to have access to a car and stuff, So, how's that brightness? I can't tell because I have these big lights on me, so I'm looking at my monitor, and it looks, looks a little dark, but maybe it's okay. But I brought these in because I thought I would do that little thing I was telling you guys about. So I ended up, now I need to turn down the brightness. I ended up measuring a bunch of my jeans. I measured these 3 pairs, and then this is the pair I'm making right now. This is my measurements, and then this is for this pair of jeans here, this column here. So, okay, great, Melon, thanks. So I just thought I would talk. This is going to be a little numbery and nerdy, but I feel like it's a good illustration of how the measurements on the pattern relate to you and the pattern that you're cutting out or the size that you've selected. In fact, where is my... I have so many little props today over here, so I want to make sure I keep track of all of them because... Okay, so first I just thought I'd look at my measurements in relation to the size that I cut out for this pair right here. So I cut out size 14s, and I know I've mentioned that I feel like that was too big now, and I should just have gone down a size. But let's see why that is, because I actually haven't looked at these numbers to know, but I have a feeling what I'm going to find is that there needs to be a little bit of negative ease. So the finished measurements should be just under your measurements because of the stretch in the denim, especially if you don't want that saggy pair of jeans at the end of the day. Like, that's really sexy. So we're not aiming for that, right? So let's see. So my waist, where I want my pants to be, because my waist is actually quite a bit, my natural waistline is quite a bit higher than where my pants sit. And I like mine to sit like, here's my belly button and my jeans, you know, they're sitting like right just below my belly button, maybe on my belly button. And I have a tummy, and I mean, I have a sway back, but I think it's more that I have a tummy, you know what I mean? So it's like I need less in the back and I need more in the front. So let's see. So my waist, where I like my pants to sit, is 36. Now this waist measurement here for the 14 is 33. It is quite a bit smaller than mine. I probably picked that size because my natural waist probably is like a 32, 33, 34, somewhere in there, right? So this, I'm assuming that the waistline for the gingers, it's just too bright for you guys. Let me adjust that. Is probably measured at the waist, the natural waist of the person. So let's see. Is that a little better? It's still not really in focus though. I don't really know if you can see that. So here's the 14 right here. It says 33. Where I want my pants is more like a 36, but my waist probably does measure that. Let's see, the hip is a little more telling in jeans because that you can't avoid covering the hips with your pants, right? So you know that measurement. So the 14 is a 42 and mine is a 41 and a half. And I probably was like, well, I don't really want my pants to be too tight. But because of the stretch in the denim, they feel really loose, even if they're like sitting against my, you know, skin. They feel really loose, you know. So let's see what the finished measurements say. So the finished measurement hip says 41 when the hip there says 42. So they are building in negative ease. I just needed a little bit more than that. So I thought it was just really interesting because, so here's the rise. Okay, so here's the rise. The rise is the crotch seam right here. I know now I've got those so dim. Let me see. I think I have a sketch here that I made for you. I kind of like copied their sketch so that you could kind of see at a glance. Like, here's my pin. So this right here is the rise. There's a center front rise and a center back rise, right? You have one here, you have one here. The hip is right about here. It's usually the fullest part, but sometimes you'll see a high hip measurement, and that's more along your hip bone, your actual hip. That's why it's a little confusing. This is the waist, but it's not the natural waist on this pair of pants. If they were really high rise, they could be at the waist, but we don't really wear our pants that high anymore, and they're pretty uncomfortable for a woman to wear them that high. But they are nice because then they don't slip off your hips, because we do have hips. It's kind of like the whole analogy of like my dog's head is kind of small, but her neck's kind of big. And so her collar will just slip right off of her head because her neck's bigger than her head. And I feel like that's with women in jeans. If you're going to get them over your hips, and then they have to be small enough to sit on your waist so they don't fall off, right? So it's kind of a tricky thing. Yes, the rise does include the curve at the crotch. So the pattern piece of the rise, so here's the inseam, the hem, the outer seam, the waist, here's the rise. This whole thing, that whole line is the rise of the pant, front and back. It's not a straight line. So you can measure the rise and divide it up by the front and the back, and then you can add them together to get a total rise. That way, sometimes this point right here may shift to the front or the back a little bit on a pair of pants. And if you have the total rise correct, you may end up being more in the ballpark than you think you are. It just depends on if you're dealing with certain fit, requirements that you have. So like that is one thing I did. I measured my total rise today. It's 23.5, and that's basically because you don't have like a line drawn on your body permanently where your waist is. Yeah, exactly, Malin. I am too. Yeah. So 23.5 is my total rise. Now, so if I combine the center front rise and the center back rise on like this pair of pants, which looks like it's almost 21, and my total rise is 23 and a half. And that's because the pants I'm wearing right now are a little higher up than this pair here. But these are all about the same. Like, look how close those are. These are about 5/8 of an inch different from each other. This one's 1/8 of an inch smaller than this one. This one's 1/2 of an inch smaller than that one. So these even got smaller. This right here, this pair is 23-inch combined rise, and mine's 23 and a half. So I actually think this is a pair of pants I really like wearing right here. And I like the ones I'm wearing right now, which are roughly these measurements. The waist, where my waist sits on my pants on me, not my actual natural waist, is the ones like if I measure myself there, it's 36. Like if I just like natural like skin on tape measure contact, not through my pants, because the pants can actually add or subtract depending on how tight they are or how bulky they are. So my waist where I want my pants to sit is about 36, and my jeans I'm making right now are gonna be supposedly 34 and a half. But all these are roughly there, 34 to 35 and a half. So, and I'm going to measure my first gingers. Yeah, exactly, Ida. I really don't like stuff on my stomach. But I also don't like my stomach hanging out of my pants, you know? And it's really funny, you know, when I was pregnant with my daughter, I you know, this was like 2001. It was right after 9/11, so I really remember it. I, you know, got pregnant in the spring and then had her and then came out of it. And I was actually pretty close to my original size right after I had her, because I didn't gain a lot. I had lost a lot because I was really sick my first trimester, and then I didn't gain a ton. But then I gained a little after I had her because my metabolism just, you know, stopped, of course. And then I needed new pants, right? So I was like trying to use some of my old pants at first and just not button them all the way until like I got back down. And then, you know, your hips are, you know, a little wider after having a kid too. And then I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. Your ego and your self-esteem are dropping every day because you're trying to fit into pants that don't fit. And I didn't know all those things were in play because I was so consumed with being a mom. And then, so I was just like, I'm just going to buy some like temporary clothes. Like another mom gave me that tip. I went somewhere just to get some like stopgap clothes, and I tried on all the pants. And when the low-rise movement happened, they went low. They went really low, like pubic bone low. And I was like, holy heck, what happened since I've been pregnant? Like, it was such a shocker and so demoralizing. And, you know, my belly was just hanging out on top, you know, and it's like softer. Is this like too much information? I'm sure we're all in there who've had moms, you know. So I was a little like, rude. What happened in the world? How did people let this happen that all pants are now low rise, you know? I had always wanted there to be like a boyfriend cut pant. And it took like a decade. Like I had one pair, and like men's pants fit me pretty good because I had wide hips, but I had a narrow waist, you know. So they would just be lower, and they were pretty comfortable, but they weren't very flattering, you know. They were just comfortable, and so I was pretty excited when like something like that was coming out. And then I went and tried them on. I was like, yeah, I don't like this. I want my money back. So and then, you know, they kind of swung the other way where they weren't so low. And then that was a little bit more of a happy medium, you know. Yeah, Melanie. I know. It's like, gosh, I felt like the world had betrayed me, you know. So anyway, now, I mean, I know pants are going, the rise is getting higher and higher. You know, I see my daughter wearing those, and, you know, it's like that classic thing where it's like I'm seeing her wear the things I wore when I was in high school. And I don't really want to go back to that either. So I do like, yeah, the mid-rise, you know, right under my belly button. I want them to stay on me and not feel like they're falling off. I don't want them to be too loose, but I don't want them to be too snug. And I don't want them to be uncomfortable. I mean, like, I'm saying all the obvious things, right? So anyway, these are the things I've learned. And this was instructive for me, too, because, you know, these were 3 different pairs of pants. And I always, you know, want to grab the pair of pants in the closet that I like the best, but I can never remember which pair is which. I just know they all fit me, but there's a couple that I like better, and some days you're in the mood for those, you know, like every day, right? So this is the other thing I decided since yesterday is that I'm going to grade my pants, and I'm going to write a letter Like I just denoted ABC so I could tell them apart and I knew which pair I had measured. But I was thinking, hi Christy. Oh, no problem. I was thinking that a really great way for us to do this, if you're like me and you have like a few pairs and you can't tell them apart, is I'm going to write a letter in them and grade them like schoolwork. So if they have an A on them, those are like my favorites. And a B is like, yeah, these are fine. And C is like, okay, I need to do laundry, but I can wear these. That way I will remember. And I'm just going to write it right inside the tag. So that's my little idea that I thought of today. And I'm totally going to do it. I'm going to scratch out the B and the C on those others, and unless they are a B and a C. I don't think so. I think this one's an A. So that's my little I'm gonna do, and I'm so excited I thought of this because I've been like, do I sew a piece of ribbon in these? Do I organize them in my closet? If I organize them in my closet, I have to remember which ones they are every time I put them away. And a lot of these are the same brand because I buy Liverpool jeans, and then I bought some of the Jag jeans. You know, I can tell those apart because they don't have a waistband. They have the pull-on style. So I didn't measure any of those here. I just did what was similar to my gingers. So all right, so getting back to some of these terms, I just wanted to go over. So this is, I'll show you how I measured on here and then in real life. So I measured the rise on the seam line. So let's say this is the seam allowance here, like that. I measured it on the seam line of the pants. What's that thread there? Oh, there's something there I got to deal with. And then I measured best I could straight across right here and called it the thigh. And this is a very awkward measurement. I'm going to show you why and show you the best way to do it and just how to let go mentally of how you might be, you know, a little bit inaccurate. You might not be, but getting that ballpark is still going to tell you a lot, even if it's within an inch, because at least you'll know. Like an inch is pretty easy to absorb either direction since there's stretch. So be forgiving of yourself there. The inseam is this one right here. This is the out seam. Sorry about my handwriting. This is the hem circumference going this way. Inseam is this way. Out seam. And then for the hip, I measured where I felt like this curve wasn't curving anymore, so about right here, because this is hard to determine on every pair of pants where exactly the hip is if I'm not wearing them. If you are drafting a pair of patterns from a block as a pattern drafter, you're using a block that has all these lines on there, the hip line, this is called the crotch line, and I'm calling it the thigh because it's a little more easy to understand and it doesn't confuse rise because the rise is different. And this is the waist. And so for the waist for me, I measured just kind of middle of the waistband all the way around best I could. And that's kind of trickier than you think because the waistband is so thick and lumpy and you're going over the belt loops or the carriers that it can kind of add to your measurement. And those little eighths and quarter inches can add up, and your waist is kind of an important measurement. So I just did the best I could there and measured it a few times and sometimes got an inch different from one measurement to the next. So that's the measurements I focused on. Just a few. I did it really quickly, and I'll show you how I did it. So you can use a tape measure, or you could use a ruler that will curve. So for my center front rise, you're trying to get the pants as relaxed as possible. Let me brighten that up for you guys again. How's that? Is that too much? That's pretty good. You might not be able to see this, but I'll tell you what I'm writing down. So my little workspace here is very tiny. See if I can move my camera out from in front of my face. There we go. Okay, so you want to get these as relaxed as possible. So you're going to kind of relax your pant so that the rise is flat as possible. And then take your ruler and you're going to measure at the seam juncture there and just curve along that line. And I'm going to go to the waist seam. So that measures 10 inches, quite a bit more than all my pants. No wonder, right? Let's do the thigh, what I'm calling the thigh here, and I'm going to show you why this one's kind of tricky, because your back pant is most certainly going to come to the front of the pant, and it's easy to get if you wanted to just get this measurement straight across on the front. And the reason I didn't do that is because it's really hard to get it on the back. So why not just be consistent and get a one-time circumference measurement? So I'm going to measure at this fold line right here, and that's the seam juncture. And I'm just going to go straight across. I'm looking at my grain line, and I'm trying to keep it as perpendicular as possible. And I'm just going over here, and it's a 12 3/4, which is 25 1/2. So that's that. These are pretty loose. So yeah, that makes sense. My hip measurement, I'm going to go about right here because I feel like that's where the curve kind of stops. It's at the bottom of the zipper. And I'm going to go straight across. And, you know, if you really wanted to be accurate, you'd kind of want to line up your center seam there on top of the back seam here. The seam, not the seam allowance, but the seam. So I'm just going to go straight across. And it's like 10-ish. I feel like that's kind of small. You know what? I actually might have gone all the way across when I did but I don't have space here, so we'll just consider that 10, and which would be 40. That's right on with all those others, and that makes sense. They actually fit me really well through the hips. And then the inseam, I just measured from this seam juncture along the seam line all the way to the hem bottom. And the hem circumference, I wear these rolled up, so I know they're a little too big. I actually like rolling my jeans. It's sometimes chilly here, but like having no socks and rolled up pants is enough. Okay, so these are the skinny leg. They're 6 3/4 around, which is 13 1/2. I know some of those measurements by heart. I've just dealt with them for so much. That's why I'm rattling it off. Okay, and let's do our center back rise. This one's a little trickier because the juncture of your rise to the pant disappears to the front. See, it's way there, over there. So we're going to kind of pull these like this. It's so much less accurate when they're already sewn. But we're just doing the best we can, getting a ballpark. And these are really long. I can just see how long they are. And it makes sense because remember I took out 1 1/2 inches from my rise on this next pair of gingers. All right, so that's 15 1/4. And I did notice like this pair of pants right here is 8 and 15, so the back rise is pretty deep. They don't seem to bug me. I don't think of them as bugging me. I didn't wear those yesterday. But it is kind of nice. They're probably doing what the gingers do. They're like, you know, when you squat down, nothing's going to hang out the back, and I appreciate that. So, especially because I have white hips, you know, my pants do slip down. So let's do the waist. So I'm going to button up the pants. Oh, my button broke. Wah. All right. Okay, so I'm going to button up my pants. And I'm going to put the waistband right on top of the other one. I'm actually going to go around the pant like this. I'm just going to walk it around kind of in the middle. Up to where that started. Now it's 36 1/4. Yeah, it's pretty big. Like that's what my waist actually measures. So if you wear something that like around your waist, like somewhere where it's you're trying to keep it on, you're gonna have some issues. Like you would never ever wear leggings that measure your measurements. They have to be negative ease. Otherwise, they're going to fall off. They're going to end up around your knees. So it's the same with these since they're stretched. Like if these weren't stretched, you could actually make these closer to your actual measurements. So do you have any questions, you guys? Is that too much information? I know it's hard to digest that when you're not actually sewing your own pair or have something in front of you. So, oh, hi, Stuart. How's it going? Stuart made my logo, you guys. Isn't it awesome? My So Live logos. I haven't seen you in a bit, Stuart. It's been crazy times around here, huh, Stuart? So I'm glad you guys were okay, too. All right, so let's see. So if you guys have any other questions about the sizing or anything, you know, we can go over that. So we've got our finished measurements. I'm going to look at the size chart now in conjunction with my measurements and see maybe what I should have picked before. Let's see. So 23.5 is my total rise. 18. And that's 19. So I can see the grade. Okay, so let's talk about grading just a touch, okay? Just a touch of grading. All right. So you know how people say, oh, I'm going to grade, I'm going to cut the 14, I'm going to grade the hips to a 16. What they're talking about is they're going to taper to the waist. The waist is going to be a little smaller. Hi, Rebecca. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. It was Rebecca's partner who made my logo. How's it going? I'm glad to see you guys okay, Rebecca. So when they say that, they're just saying that they're probably not going to grade it. They're just using the sizes and they're going to taper a line. Great. That's so much easier than grading it, right? But if you are curious, like I have gotten lots of questions about, like, say, I'm going to make the dim this a little bit more again, you guys. We could talk about grading for literally hours. It's a big topic, and so I'm not going to do that because I don't want to bore you guys. And maybe we could do a stream dedicated to it because I actually did do a lot of grading in the pattern industry, and I really enjoyed it. It was one of my passions was sizing and fit and things like that. Yeah, me too, Rebecca. It's hard. Me and Rebecca right now are living in the campfire area. I'm sure you guys have heard about it in the news. I'm just pretending like everything's normal sitting here. It's not. So, but it's nice to have you guys as a distraction. Okay, so Christy, the term grading is literally, okay, bye, Malin. Talk to you later. The term grading, Christy, is literally the difference between each size. So if you thought of it as like the gradations of color or the gradations of the land or something like that, it's those little steps that you take between each size. And so when people talk about grade, they're talking about sizing, basically, and the difference, literally the difference between sizes. And so when I would get a pattern from a company and they would say, oh yeah, we want it graded into sizes 0 through 16. They would probably give me the middle size. Hi, Ida. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, check out that first video we did, Ida, on these because we talked a lot about that too. They would give me the middle of the road size maybe, or maybe I had drafted it, and then I would grade it down to the 0 and up to the 16. And you wouldn't apply the same grade rule to all of those sizes. And the grade rule is the difference between the sizes. And so that's what I was going to show you here. So I can actually tell you what this grade rule is just by doing the math between each size. So like the waist is a 1-inch difference here, 1 1/4. Wait, actually, yeah, 1 1/4, 1 1/4, 1 1.5, 1 1/2, 2. So like from here, this is a 2-inch grade rule. This is a 1.5-inch grade rule. This is a 1-inch grade rule, 37, 39, and then it goes to a 2.5-inch grade rule. Very standard. And so I'll also tell you the difference between lettered sizes and numbered sizes, because I feel like this is really handy when you're shopping for clothing. So this is numbered sizes, and numbered sizes, you're going to see this small amount between the sizes because small amounts add up to a lot, and this is a greater number of sizes than you would see in like small, medium, large. So what you would do if you wanted to convert this to a small, medium, and large. Stick with me, you guys. I promise that what I'm about to say is pretty useful. So you would probably make this one, these two right here, the 0 and the 2, extra small. I may get myself into a pickle. That might be extra small. And then this would be the small. This would be the medium. This would be the large. This would be the extra large, and this would be the double X, okay? Now, this is what I'm going to tell you that's really, really important. When you are picking out sizes and you're buying clothing online, do not pick the bottom measurement. If you measure 28 inches, let's see, how do I put this? Say you're struggling between picking different sizes. Remember, if they have called this size 4 and 6 the size small, it has to measure what the size 6 is. So it's going to fit the upper measurement better. So it's going to shortchange the lower measurement and target the upper measurement. So especially in a size where you're just like, oh, I'm right at the cusp. I'm at the top end of the 14. Like say you're 36-inch waist here, and the 14 says 35 and a half, and the 16 is 37 and 3/4. You would probably be better off getting that 14, because I'll tell you what, if your waist is 36, it's really going to measure 37 and 3/4. It's going to measure the bigger one. So that's why you want to pay attention to the difference between the sizes. So I hope that makes sense. I know that's a lot of information, but think of it this way. This large is really only the 14. The medium is really only the 10. So basically what this is the 2, the 6, the 10, the 14, the 18, and the 20. That's all the sizes. They just halved the sizes because they were trying to make fewer sizes, fewer SKUs, so they don't have to offer as many garments in every color and every size. And this is really apparent in ready-to-wear clothing and in stretchy things and tops, especially. Pants, you're going to see more like numbered sizing. Here's another little trick. Even numbers is Missy and like adult women in general. Odd numbers are juniors, which are like teenagers, like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Those are teenagers. And then the other two, like the other things out there, just like up to the designer and stuff. I could talk for days about kids and like what 6X's and stuff like that. You just screenshot this. Awesome. I will totally talk about this in depth, you guys. We can talk a lot about grading. I really love it. I really nerd out on it. I actually really love the numbers. I just don't like boring people about it. But we can talk about the differences between the sizes sometime and like how to do that, because it's just really helpful. Like once you understand why it's doing that, or why when you order that thing it's not fitting like what you thought, you're like, I bought the one in my size. Why is it so big? It's because they've lumped them together. So before there was only, numbered sizes, It's kind of why I like European sizing for some things, because they actually use the number of your bust. Like their shirts are 36, 37, 38, stuff like that. But then you got to worry about centimeters and inches and things like that. So there's that too. Just don't stress about it. But just know that when you're buying lettered sizes, that you should opt for the one that's the closest to your number, even if it's the one below, if you don't want it to be too big. If you're looking for a loose fit, then get that one that's up. I know we always think, oh, it's better if it's bigger. It's not though, because it will feel better if it fits through your shoulders. Even if it's a little snug somewhere else, you might be able to do something to kind of alleviate that. But fitting through your shoulders makes it look so much more flattering on you, and look, it's more slimming. and I'm a big proponent of that. So, any questions? Are y'all just like blah blah blah? I feel like the teacher in a Peanuts cartoon right now. I can't really tell. So let's see. So I want to get back just a little bit why I ended up just altering my size 14 rather than doing the smaller size. It's because I had something I knew, right? I've already sewn one, and it's like, okay, this is what I know, so I'm going to stick with that. It's kind of like why I talked to you guys on the first part about the 0 point on the pants, like when you're going to alter it. Just pick a point that doesn't change, because you need this like point that everything measures out from. Not because I'll tell you why. Do you guys remember that dress I made recently? I love that dress. I'm not trying to throw shade on that pattern company. This happens. I've seen this in my own things when I work places. I've seen other pattern drafters do it, and I had to fix it. Because when you're doing computer drafted patterns and you're doing grade and applying grade rules on there, this is how you do it. It's a little chart, and you remember that X and Y axis in high school? That's it. So you're moving that little point, like you're literally moving this point in that rise. We'll call those Bermuda shorts. This point right here, so this is on pants, this is the 0 point as a pattern drafter. That point never moves. So everything grades up and down from that point. And so you're moving this positive, 1/4 inch on the x-axis, or negative to go this way, and then, y. So that is what they're doing. It is really, really, really easy to flip the positives and negatives, and you end up not grading something or grading it the opposite. So we probably should be a little kinder to those men and women trying to do that, but it does seem like it should be something that's caught when you sew a bunch or something like that. In fact, I just measured these pants yesterday, and I consider them my like summer capri jeans, or like my spring and fall here, because you could never wear them in the summer, it's just too hot here. I just noticed for the first time in the waistband, it said the size was something like 29-31, so like waist and inseam, and I was like, 31? There's no way these are 31. They're more like 26 or something. They were seconds, and I bought them as seconds because my daughter was like, hey, here's those Liverpool jeans you really love, and they're on sale, and they were billed as capris, and I was like, oh, cool, I love these pants. I'll get them as capris. They do kind of fit me funny. They're very, like, they're just too stretchy and they're too loose, but they're comfortable. And I realized that that's probably what it is. It was probably either the wrong tag was sewn into them, or they were graded wrong and they just needed to get rid of them. So they, put them on a site like Zulily and got rid of them. So, but remember that Rita shirt dress I did, and I showed you guys, look at this sleeve. The sleeve grade was flipped. So the extra small was measuring longer than the extra large, or than the small. So that's a perfect example. I never looked at the errata of that pattern before I cut and sewed it. It very well is probably just fixed on their website. I just pointed it out to you guys just so you're not like, why is this coming out longer than I want? I barely had enough fabric to begin with, or I didn't want the sleeve to be so long, and I've already done this whole cuff treatment. I didn't realize it. Now I'd have to take that out. It's just something I wanted you to be aware of. So that is how grading is done. It's flat on a computer screen nowadays, and it's all points on the X and Y axis, and it looks like a complete jumble. It looks like this. That is what you're looking at on the computer screen. I know that this is a screenshot of their patterns on their computer screen. I know what that looks like. So, and then if on the screen that you do the CAD program, it's not different dashed lines, they're just colors. If you're lucky, your program does that. So you just get to know all your colors. Your small is yellow, your medium is blue. So okay, so I feel like I've lectured enough. Maybe you want to sew. So maybe we could do that. Maybe I'll do my sample fly here, because I'm kind of out of practice. I have a little cheat sheet. Where is it? I pulled it out today, I think. Oh, here it is. Let's see if I have an extra zipper. I don't think I have an extra zipper, so I'm going to use one of mine, which isn't a good idea. Yes, they will, Christy. No, yes and no. If they reprint the pattern, they probably don't. They will make the change when they print it again. But for PDFs, most likely they actually fix it. So from that point on, anyone they sell it to gets the updated one. But I have noticed, because one time there was a pretty bad error on the chart on the back of one of my patterns, and so I asked the company, I was like, is this or this? Like I couldn't figure it out. So I wanted to make sure I didn't have enough of the fabric, and it was a really important project, and so I really wanted to make sure I cut the right one out. And I couldn't tell by looking at the pattern pieces. I was really confused, and it was a printing error. And they said, oh yeah, that's errata on our website. And I was like, oh, I didn't even realize. It was my first time sewing an indie pattern, and I felt really bad because I felt like they were just like, you idiot. And I was like, I'm not a know-it-all, I promise. I'm just kind of curious, like, what is this? But it's not like, when you buy a printed pattern, the company knows you've bought it, so they can't notify you. And the Rita shirt dress is one I got in a subscription box for Needle Sharp. And so, it is kind of up to you to look at any website for any company, even non-indie pattern companies probably have errata written down for their patterns. So it's just a good practice. I'm not in that good practice yet because there's so many details, right? So you could probably do better than me. And, oh, that reminds me, Christy, was it you? I can't remember. I have to look at Instagram. Someone found a pull-on pair of jean patterns by Jolie. So maybe we should check those out. Is it you, Christy, that found those? I'm pretty sure. So I can't remember now, but I'm going to check those out. So I've heard a lot of things about there. I thought they only did knits. So I don't know why I thought that, but I could check that out. Or maybe I thought they did plus-size clothing. Can't remember now why I didn't even think to look out there. Let's brighten this up. Let's see. I took off the auto exposure because I felt like it was just like blowing out my video all the time. So now I'm having to manually adjust it. Yeah, it was you, Christy, right? Yeah, so you found the Jolie pull-on jean patterns. I have to look at those. I bookmarked that so that I would go look at it. I'm just having trouble keeping up. I already have trouble keeping up on everything because I'm running chicken boots too. And then in light of everything that's going on around me right now, and I'm just really enjoying having my family with me as well, even though like I'm barely seeing them because I'm here all day. Still a mom too. My husband finally got home on Sunday from Chile though, so he's here helping me, and that's kind of a relief too. So, oh, cool. It's for children all the way to plus sizing. And it's denim? Really? I'm really surprised. That's awesome. So I will say one thing about grade rules is a classically trained pattern drafter would never use one grade rule for a different genre. Like you would never use the same grade rule for juniors as you do Missy, or plus sizes for Missy. Or children too. Children is a whole other ball game. I love children. In some ways they're really easy to fit because they're like little potatoes, Yeah, I thought you did, Rebecca. You have the Jolie pull-on pants. I'm going to check those out. I need to drop some fabric for this. Yeah, for that Pam's doing thing. So, okay. So, let's see. Do you think I can like wing it with this zipper? I just want to like sew a little practice one, so I think I'm just gonna, my zipper is like the absolute worst zipper to use because it's too wide, and it's not a fixed zipper. Oh, wow, you can print your size, that's amazing. Denim with at least 20% stretch. Oh yeah, so that's a very stretchy pair of pants. That'd be pretty cool. Okay, so let's definitely sew across the bottom. Don't I have to like, wait, did I just make this long enough? Okay, so I'm going to pretend like I have a zipper, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to And I'm going to, let's see, I just need to make sure that I don't lose my slider. Okay. Forgive me for cobbling. I just use what I have. Kind of a firm believer in that. All right. So I'm going to just do a practice zipper fly. I did notice that like my, oh, I didn't overlock these pieces. I cut these out by the skin of my teeth. Remember I shortened my rise, and so this is good to note. Like, I'm going to explain like why this is still going to work, because I know if you shortened your rise, like I shortened mine 1.5 inches. You can still get into the pants. Like, I feel like when I first started altering pants and I like did that, I was like, oh no, I'm not, it's not going to be a big enough opening. It is. And this is why. You do not need to change your zipper length. It does not, do not use the same length zipper and go down into your crotch. You will regret that. Because the waistline is now lower, you've actually made the opening either bigger or for less to go through. So you don't need to add to the length of the zipper. These pants would have worked with that 1.5 inch right here, right? So you are already putting on the same pair of pants. It just has less at the top. So it doesn't change that. That when you shorten a dress length zipper or like a dress, then you might need to pay attention to it, because you do need a certain amount of zipper below the hip line. It's usually 7 to 9 inches. You need a zipper that goes 7 to 9 inches below your hip, so that, or below your waist to your hip, so that you can actually get your hips through something and be able to put it on. So I just forgot to change this pattern piece. And this is my interfacing that I'm using. I still don't have any fusible. I checked recently, but it wasn't there yet. It might be there now. And I just have not been able to go anywhere but the grocery store and home right now. Okay, so here, let's see. We'll pretend like I overlocked all my pieces, okay? And let's see. I just cut out some canvas. You can cut out whatever you want. You could even sew a sample on paper if you want. It would be hard, but maybe just going through the motions, you know, would be a good thing. It's like I feel like every day I'm like trying to fight to keep my head in the game right now, you know, so I just want to make sure that I go through these motions a little bit. I'm going to pretend like it's serged and just stitch right here, because I would have serged this on, or it would be fusible and then it wouldn't be a problem. So we'll just do that. We'll pretend like that's overlocking, and I would have overlocked this rise as well, the little bit that's left there. Okay. Got my zipper. Here's this. I'm going to sew this right sides together. I should follow my directions so that I do it in the right order. I'm doing all the things I can remember right now. What happened? Oh, okay, there we go. Oh, I probably need to change my zipper. I mean my needle. I just noticed that I had a skip stitch, and that's a classic sign that your needle needs to be switched. Okay, I moved my camera way over, so is that all okay? Let's see here. It's kind of blue now. Oh gosh, don't do that. I can get a little closer. I don't like, what do you mean I don't like follow directions? I do it the right way. I just might not do it in the, I just get a bit, you know, like I will prevail, you know? And then I ended up with a pajama top. So, you know, there's that. I paid the price. Okay, so that's my shield, I think. Okay, base center front to notch. So I've already serged this edge and this edge, and I actually cut into the dot on there, and that's because it was easier for me. It's easier for me to serge when I have this like to pull away, so I can serge that, and then I can, you know, serge these two pieces, or do these two pieces first and then that. So I'm gonna sew this at 1/2 inch seam. I'm gonna definitely back tag. The only trick, because I pre-nip this, is that I gotta get it on both sides, and I can't be shy about it. I don't want that to come back to haunt me. Okay, so let's see. Sew curved edges right up to that. Base center front to notch and continue. Oh, that's right. I keep continue. Okay, see. Okay, so I don't need to back stitch above here. I just need to base, and I'm going to make my stitch length really long right here. Rebecca, stop! Shh, I'm telling you when. It became a personal vendetta. I needed to remember how to sew that. I still that left a bad taste in my mouth, by the way. I should have gotten up and gotten the pattern. I know. All right, so I'm going to sew straight up. There's a notch right here for that. Ooh, that is a long stitch. I don't want to base that. I'm going to put my stitch length back. Double needle top stitch left front. Okay, and that is as if I am wearing them. So this is the left front. So I put all the seam allowances to the left. So I have a video on how to do this, and it really looks like I know what I'm doing in it. So I totally recommend looking at that one if you want to sew one to, you know, with nice clear directions, Rebecca. Okay, so I'm just double needle top stitching, or single needle top stitching twice because I don't have a double needle top stitch needle. It's gonna look super wiggly because it's contrast thread. That's the like damning thing about, you know, contrast thread, is you see every little hiccup and mistake. Okay, zip to right front extension and top stitch. This is my right front. Okay, I'm gonna pull the pants out of the way, right? And I do it face down. And I remember, like, I line up the zipper at the bottom there so that, actually, we'll do this. We'll pretend like it's a real zipper. And this is loose like that, okay? It'll look more like it. Double needle, top zip to right front extension and top stitch. Okay, so I think I go on the side. I know I'm supposed to use a, so do I, Rebecca. I know I'm supposed to use a zipper foot. I'm not going to because this is just my run through. But I'm going to pull my slider past that. Okay, so I already did that wrong. So I can do, I need to line it up from the bottom, and I'm just doing, I know that, but I'm going to do it so that I remember to do it. I want to line it up from the bottom and go up like that. The reason that is the case is because if you were using a real zipper, you need this part to be down here. If you line up the teeth, you can't sew through on your machine through the brass zipper. You can very carefully stitch around each tooth and just kind of find it. You'll have to change your needle afterward because you most likely will hit a little bit. You can hand crank your needle around the teeth if you want. But you shouldn't. You should just line up your zipper from the bottom up, leave all this free because eventually we're going to come and stitch around this right here. And you don't want to worry about the brass because you're doing it from the outside of the jeans and you can't see that spot. And so I'm just reiterating it for myself here by sewing it this way. Okay. I'm just going to get my whole thing out of the way there. All right, so I do want a back stitch up here. And then I remember I turn this away like this, right? Is this right? I almost watched my video, but I didn't have time. Let's see if I'm right. Oh, I barely got that. Let's see. Let's pretend like I got it. It's because I don't have a zipper foot on. It's like pushing me away. Okay. Zip to right front extension and top stitch. Zip to left front extension and double stitch. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then I pull this over, right? Is that how? Wait. How do I do that? Oh, do I do that? Let's look at the directions. See? I'm looking at the directions. I have them here somewhere. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. I stitched on the wrong side of this right here. Okay, that's it. Okay. So, sorry guys. If you're just joining, I'm doing a practice zipper fly, so I look like I know what I'm doing, which I obviously don't. So, you know, there's that. Of course, I double stitched it and triple stitched it in a couple spots. But zipper tape is pretty darn strong, so I can actually pull it out like that. I like zipper tape for that reason. I don't like that it shreds like nobody's business if you accidentally cut it, though. It's kind of like almost unusable if I accidentally cut along this finished edge here. I wonder what kind of weave that is. Why? Because it's super strong right now, but it's not if I cut it. Okay. Are you guys hanging in there? It's good to, sometimes it's like good for me to watch people make mistakes because then I don't make them myself. But if I were using this as a how-to, I'd be like, get on with it, lady. Okay. We will look at these too. Here we go. Because they're actually really pretty good instructions. I found the sketches to be a little bit confusing the color-wise because I really wish sometimes it would say outside fabric, like when I remember like yellow's outside, then it helps. But you know, there's 3 different colors here and it's like, okay, that's probably the pocket lining right there. So, all right, so we push all this way. Zipper face down, line it up at the bottom. And I go on this side. Pretty sure. And that's step 3. Yeah, I wrote a 3. Okay, and then I turn it like that. Oh yeah, this feels way better. Okay. Like that. Okay, 3 and 5, 4. Last time driver top I found the right side of the pants facing you. I found like that I had to go like this, right? I remember it's like a little tricky. So if this is my pants, oh yeah, like that. Okay, and then I pull it that way, I'm pretty sure. Okay. And then maybe I stitch 2 over here. No. Like that? Why is this so baffling this time? My head's just not in the right space. Like this. I think, yeah, I stitched this. Oh, yeah. That's what it is. Okay, I remember this step now. Okay. I'll stitch there. Okay, I can't get any closer because I don't have my zipper foot on. So we'll just do that because it's getting caught in my zipper teeth. Okay, so we'll do that. Okay, so that's step 4. And then I think I go to the side here like that. So if I top stitch that right now, see, I feel like it's supposed to be like that. And then yeah, like that. It's because my zipper's not the right width. That's what's going on here. Okay, okay. I'm going to take this out because I need to make sure this feels good to me. And maybe I'll just use my real zipper because that's kind of my problem right now. It's just too wide so that the zipper teeth are not lining up right on top of the seam. So using this was probably not the best idea for a sample because now I'm doubting everything and not feeling like it. But it is a good illustration of why using a zipper fly zipper is the best option for you. I'm using just zipper by the yard for my sample. I almost just made a piece of fabric that was the right width, you know? So I think this is right. I'm just taking it out because I want to look at it logistically. This was so easy like last month because I'd sewn like 6 or 7 or 10 in a row. It was more like 10. I'm really glad that I'm practicing on this. I probably shouldn't have. I probably would have been totally fine if I'd just done it on all the real stuff though. But you know how when it looks different and you're not using the right stuff, it just doesn't go together the same way. I just accidentally unthreaded my needle to add insult to injury there. Okay. Okay, so here's our practice fly. And I'm not doing just the fly today on the other pants. I'm going to do the pockets as well. So I just remember going like this and going like doing this little like boop thing like that, you know? Yeah. Pin the left side of the zipper, place the next so that is lying flat against the other extension. Zipper should now be to the left of your crotch seam. Well, depends on what you're talking about. To the left of your crotch seam. Yeah, it is. Okay. It is. Pin the left side of the zipper to the other fly extension. Being sure not to pin the front of the pants. Oh, maybe just like all the way up to the edge. And then when I do that, see, that's not going to be right either, though. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm having a bad zipper fly day. I promise. I know how to do this. But reading someone else's instructions doesn't ever work for me. I have to make my own. Zip to right, zip to left front extension, and double stitch. Yeah, just like that. I think I do it on this side. Maybe that's what it is. That's it. Okay. See, I looked at mine and it made more sense. All right, so let's try this. All right. Yeah, see, that looks better. And then now I'm going to, I know it's not going to lay correct because the zipper's too wide. But yeah, now I stitch around it like this. Using the provided top stitch template. And then I take this out. And then I should have my zipper fly. And maybe I'll do the, which one's the basting? This one right here? This one right here. Oh yeah, because I just started doing the, oh no, that's the top stitch. What the heck? Well, let's see. Oh yeah. Okay, it was this one. Okay, I just accidentally took out my top stitching. The other day was such a good stream. Oh well. Maybe we should watch our watch my video together. I don't think I can watch myself in front of you guys though. So there's my zipper fly. But I got the top stitching. For some reason, that is what wanted to come out just now. Because this is the seam. It's so interesting. Why did I accidentally catch the wrong seam? Kind of curious about that. All right, well, that went together terribly. Oh, and then I have my fly shield as well, so that would have gone here, just like that. And I like top stitching that on before I do the last top stitch step. So, do you guys mind if I do one more? I just need to cut it out really quick. Oh yeah, Ida. I mean, that's the thing is like when I did that video of me sewing the zipper fly, I sewed quite a few of them and it made perfect sense to me then. And it's because my head was really into that mode. You know how like when you get really into something and then you're like, okay, I got this, like pie crust or something. I love how I always bring it back to food. And then you go to do it like 8 months, like, okay, it's Thanksgiving again, time to make a pie. And then you go to do your crust, you're like, wait, how did I do that again? So, like, I know I figured that out already. I don't need to figure that out anymore. And then it's just like, it takes practice. It's definitely a skill. Super simple once you know the steps. And that's why I liked that video because it's just like 7 steps. You know, it's really easy to do. So, I even have one down here too. This one looks really good. I think this is the one from the video. This one looks really nice, you know, barring all the weird, weird fabric colors and threads and stuff like that. But maybe I could use this zipper and do one more. That way I can practice. It's not hard to take out, obviously, right? I just don't have another. I knew I should have cut 2. Is this making you guys cringe, me ripping? Yeah, Rebecca, I know. It's like, I want my jeans, and I feel like we all want our jeans to come together well, right? Like when I did those other gingers, it was like, no problem. What did I have trouble, on those other gingers, I had trouble with that pocket. I was like, where's this going? Let's just cut that puppy off. And then I was like, oh shoot, I shouldn't have cut that puppy off, you know. But we won't do that this time. Here we go. Here we go. This zipper had gotten nipped, so I couldn't use it again. So it was my sample zipper over and over again. Trash. Okay. So what, are you guys working on anything or sewing anything? Entertain me while I sit here and rip this out. Tell me a story. Ask me a question. Tell me a story. Something. Okay, so see, this one got ripped right there, so I can't use it. That's why it's my little sample zipper. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna get a piece of fabric. I'm gonna iron this real quick. let's see. I got my pattern pieces right here. And when I do these, I just cut out like this little section right here. I only need to cut out the fronts because I didn't end up using the fly shield, which is here somewhere. And then I have I'm not going to use interfacing on the next one. Your quilt, you completely changed your idea. Oh, very interesting. I can't wait to see it, Rebecca. You need to send me a picture. Okay, wait, so you added rows of the different pieced areas and rows of just solid color. Oh, I see. Aligned princess seam bots. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But you know, princess seams are so worth the fit. I'm such a big advocate of those. And I feel like my prediction is that princess seams are going to get more and more popular. I was really, really into them in like my later high school years and through my 20s. Especially if you're curvy like me, they're really nice for fit because it's the most flattering thing you can do for someone who has curves or is fuller figured is princess seams. Because I think we erroneously think that you need to just have big and baggy when you want to cover up like bumps and curves. But honestly, the thing that makes you feel the most comfortable in your clothing is when it fits. And I mean, I know that's like the most obvious statement in the world, but what I mean by that is when it is like contoured, and you can get the contours you need with princess seams and darts. And darts are just basically connected princess seams. Oh, you are, Stephanie? Oh, they're amazing. That's so exciting. Oh, that kilo wrap dress, that looks really cute. Yeah, that would be a new look for me as well. I really liked wraps for a while, but they were so like, you know, if it was windy, eek. And I live somewhere kind of windy, so I got kind of tired of dealing with this one wrap skirt I had. Okay, I'm just going to iron this scrap piece of fabric here. Rebecca, I think this is the thing that I needed to buy from the store is a new one of these because do you see mine's lumpy? Don't ask. You probably know how that happened. I haven't been in the fabric store in a little bit. I honestly, like, I'll admit, like, I've been kind of sticking close to home. Like, it's been tough, you know, you guys. Like, it's really tough here. Me and Rebecca are in like it's a war zone. You know, these fires are really bad. And my parents and brother are staying with me. They did lose their homes. And, you know, the process they're going through with all that is nothing I would wish on anybody. It's great that they have the time to deal with it because they're retired. They don't have small children. They don't have jobs that they need to get to. But they're also not like 100% on the internet with all their stuff. Or maybe they didn't get out with some of the stuff they needed. So, you know, there's just like, I really feel for the people who might have been at work when those fires happened because they probably commute down to where I live, which is just down like a hill. So, you know. Oh, they feel like you're wearing PJs. That sounds nice. I want to see those. What's the pant pattern called? This blade's a little small for this. This is actually used to be my favorite size. So I'm just gonna cut these off wherever I want. Try not to get on my, ooh, I am on my, ooh, not my table. This isn't ideal. There we go. Throw those away. doesn't really matter. Yeah, so I've been kind of staying kind of close to home, you know. So, plus, there's just a lot of things to do. Okay. I always have to put my weight on there, otherwise this thing would just skitter right off the table. All right, where'd my zipper go, you guys? Hey, not fair. I just worked hard for that zipper. What'd I do with it? It's gotta be in here. There, wait, I hear it. Oh no, that's the old one. Where'd my zipper go? Did I carry it out there? Maybe I carried it out there. Let me go look. Sometimes, you know, you have it in your hand, you let go. Okay. How do I sew my zipper fly? As painfully as possible. No, I'm just teasing. All right, I'm gonna make my little nip there. Okay, so I've done my serging. Head in the game, Duffy. Back stitch right there. Switch to a basting stitch. Well, I don't have my... I need this notch right here. There we go. Like that. Double needle top stitch left front over here. Like this. Yeah, see that? That should have worked, me pulling out the, I found it. Oh, you spent rips, so I took them apart and traced the new pattern. Oh, yeah. So you know what that's called? It's called a knockoff. When you copy a existing garment, it's called a knockoff. It's one of the most common things I get asked to do for people of pants. They're like, I really want my favorite pair of pants or shirt or whatever. And maybe one of these days when I get around to doing like a pattern drafting stream, I can show you some of the tools that make that really easy. Because I know that they sell like tracing wheels at the fabric store, but the kind that you use for doing that is quite a bit different. Oh my God, you guys. And this zipper does not want to be, it's like, this zipper has been like sewn into so many zipper flies, and it's like, I'm done. I just want to go take a nap. So, yes, I do give voices to everything. Okay. All right, so we got that. Double needle top stitch front, zip to right front extension, and top stitch. Okay, so I need to line up the bottom of my zipper. This, pull my out of the way. That's right, I line up this edge with the center front like that. Yeah, I really do. I did need to. Oh, I need to put this back from a basting stitch. I needed the right width zipper. Okay, so zip different and top stitch. Now top stitch, it means like I turn it like this. Top stitch this right here. Zip to left front extension. I just know I turned this upside down for this step like this. Like this. This one's the one I'm having trouble with. I feel like that this is Yeah, it's gonna be like this. I feel like now this one's too narrow. It's gonna be like this. No. Oh, now of course I got rid of my sample. Okay, so this one. What I think, like, this is, Rebecca, this is what it's creeping in now, like the instructions thing is creeping in for me, because I feel like I learn this better when it's logical. And so that's why I'm kind of struggling in front of you guys, because I really want this to be logical. It'll sink into my psyche a little bit better, and then it won't be such a slog to remember every time. So I know that my zipper will eventually be right here. Actually, over here, like this. Just feel like this is really narrow right here. I think it's because I'm supposed to do, so I did that. You know what it is? It's because of the zipper foot thing. So maybe I should just switch to my zipper foot. It'll be a more accurate example anyway. So that's what it is. My zipper foot's a little different than yours. I can't move my needle left and right of the foot, so it goes right down the middle, just like this. Take my foot off the pedal while I do this. I don't need it going up and down. I don't need to sew myself in front of you guys. I don't need to sew myself in general. I'm going to take out this top stitching right here so that I can do this proper. Just like this. Let's see. I'm trying to think what else we could talk about with jeans too. I was just going to do the pockets and the waistband, but I mean the pockets and the zipper fly, but we've already been here for like an hour and a half. So maybe I won't get much sewing done today, and we can save this for Saturday. Do any of you live in the U.S. and celebrate Thanksgiving? And you guys got any good plans? Are you guys going anywhere? Are you staying close to home? What is your favorite Thanksgiving meal? I want to know. Oh, I just can't get this. Tell me. I like stuffing and gravy a lot. I'm not a big turkey fan. We make it sometimes. This year we're making a ham. My husband does the cooking mostly. So I eat whatever he puts in front of me, and I'm thrilled with it. So taking out seams and twills is the worst. It really wants to catch the loops of the fabric. I feel like, have you guys ever noticed that with twills, that it does that? I'm about to just pretend like it's not there. But I know that would probably be a bad idea. Maybe I'll just take out both. And then that way I can just start over. I may ruin my zipper completely now. There we go. Yeah, gravy, right? Oh, yeah, you could add pockets, exactly. I didn't see that comment. Yeah, Rebecca, I live for gravy. Like, I could pretty much eat anything with gravy or sauce on it. Like, I really love it. I'm a big fan. My husband will make something, like, for dinner, and it'll have, like, a little bit of gravy on it. Or, like he'll make something from the juices, you know? And then I'm like, wait, where's more of that? He's like, well, it's not supposed to have too much. I'm like, I don't care. Okay, so let's see. Now that I have my zipper foot, let's try this. Line up the bottom. Put the edge to the seam. Right there. And get closer to the zipper. Here we go. Now I'm going to turn it top stitch. And then, that's better. Oh, Indiana. What's the weather like there? Okay, now, still up in double stitch, okay. It's all because I was using the wrong zipper and the wrong foot. Okay, I don't have room to do 2. I'll do 2. Vexed, okay, and then move it to this side. Right. The extension goes like this, which mine's really long now. So I want to line it up to the bottom, because that's where the finished edge is right here, like this. I'm going to go a little past. I would have overlocked this edge as well. I want to go there. What did they put gravy on, Rebecca? Ooh, birthday cake, Mullen. Is it your birthday? Okay, let's see here. All right, so now I think I have prevailed. I was probably doing this exact same thing, Mullen, when you left, like struggling to remember how to sew a zipper fly by heart. I wanted to curve a little faster than that, but okay, don't do that. Okay, a little bit of tuck. I'm just trying to get through this here. See if I got it right this time. And now when I take out my basting stitch, I'm going to make sure I don't catch my top stitch right there. So you just saw all the things not to do. Aw, congratulations. I thought 17 was the age I actually looked forward to more than even being 18. Even though 18 is my favorite number, there's something about 17, it just sounded so like, you know, legit. You know what I mean? Rebecca, I'm still waiting to hear what they put gravy on. Did they put it on anything sweet? See, this is not taking out. I did this basting stitch wrong. Yeah, okay. I did do this basting stitch wrong. Not the basting stitch, the top stitch. Okay, so now we learned something else. I was supposed to open up the fly when I did that. Yeah. Okay. I see what I did here. See? So I stitched through all those layers, and then now it wouldn't let me open it any other way. But there's my fly. Let's sew one really fast before we forget. So, I love biscuits and gravy, and I like chicken fried steak. Yeah, that sounds over the top. They probably put it on a waffle too. I know that's pretty hip to do right now. Okay, let's sew something other than a practice zipper fly. Oh, actually, maybe I should just sew my zipper fly right now before it flies out of my head. No pun intended. Okay, let's see here. See, I might be able to do it with my zipper foot on. All right, I'm going to sew this edge here. You guys are real troopers to stick through that with me. And everybody watching this in the rewatch, I hope you just fast forward through that and skipped watching my pain. But I just remembered a few things that are going to help me for the future too, which is great. And maybe you will not make those mistakes too. Let's hope, right? Oh, I did work on the closet organizer pattern. I mean, I'm not even sure any of you are really going to sew that, but now it's like I do get that kind of like completionist thing in me, and I'm like, oh, I'm finishing that. It's not going to be the cutest looking like pattern notes, but it's going to work, so. Oh, well, I don't know, Malin. You just didn't see me really struggle to sew this because I'm trying to, I was just doing a practice one and it didn't go so well. I was trying to use like just a zipper I had sitting here, which wasn't the right kind of zipper, and I wasn't using my zipper foot. And apparently those are both necessary, even for a sample. And I made a mistake at the very beginning, which I'm not going to do right now, right after I sew this. So, all right, so here we go. I'm going to sew up to my clip because I've already clipped mine. I got to make sure that I get the seam to include the clip so I don't accidentally leave any of it out, otherwise it'll fray. And then I switch to a basting. I'm going up to my notch right here. My pressure on my presser foot is a little too much right now. That's why you're seeing all this push. I don't know if you can see the pushing. Okay, no back stitch necessary. And then I open it up. And then I do the top stitching. Yeah, right, Rebecca? I know. I was thinking, did you know that there's, okay, Jay. Did you know that there are goats in the park? Like that there are like 100 goats moving their way through the park doing like brush cleanup and stuff. I think they're still there too. All right, so I'm doing my double needle top stitch. Not ideal with my zipper foot, but I'm gonna give it a shot anyway. And oh yeah. And then when I get down to here, I'm gonna push my seam allowance this way. So right now I have my fly open. Here's the curves of my fly. But when I get to the bottom, I'm gonna press my seam allowance to the right or to the left front, as it were. But visually right now, I'm pushing it to the right. And it should be my top stitch thread. Oy vey. That's okay. I don't actually mind this one not being a contrast because I actually don't really like seeing that sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to switch to my top stitch thread just for maybe the bottom right there. And I'm using this pretty thick top stitch thread. Let's see. There we go. I'm going to go right over this. I don't know, maybe I'll do the whole thing. I'm kind of debating. Maybe I should just do the whole thing since I forgot to change. But I might just do this bottom part right here. I'm not going to take out the original one, you guys. I know that might bug some of you, but this is in the crotch. It's really not going to show. No one's going to see that right there. Like, literally, this is how much it's going to show. It's worse, more just like pulling it apart because of the twill and the dye, you know, stuff like that. But, okay, let's put it back now. I just set the little spool on top of my big spool. It looks cute. I don't change the bobbin for this because I'm pretty sure my machine wouldn't tolerate this big of a thread for the bobbin. So it does have some tension issues. I wouldn't use it for sewing things together. All right, here we go. Okay, so where's my little cheat sheet? Because it was working for me. All right, and I'm going to You can actually see light through that seam there. Can you see that? Let's see, can you see my table through there? Because it's such a big basting stitch. And that's the bad tension of that top stitch thread. So it's good it's not a functioning seam, you know? All right, so face down zipper, line up the teeth to the tape to the bottom, not the teeth. Top stitch to the right of the zipper. Back stitch for sure. I feel like that's still in a basting stitch. And then turn it, and top stitch it down. They recommend having 2 different machines set up with your top stitch thread and your other one, which would be really nice, right? Okay, so double needle top stitch up front, zip to right front extension and top stitch, zip to left front extension and double stitch. This is already fitting in here so much better. You see that width? It's better, huh? Okay, we're gonna double top stitch this. I'm making sure that it's nice and flat. Okay. Okay, so I put the extension now over this right here. Just gonna line up this edge. So if this was a pattern probably made for the garment industry, there would be would have been a taper right here, like this. So the pattern piece would have done that, so that this wouldn't happen. But when you add all those little angles and things, it kind of intimidates home sewers, so they don't really do things like that, or they don't maybe know to do that. And maybe some patterns would have and some wouldn't, and maybe some wouldn't even do that. Like it just depends on the angles going on here. All right. I would just cut that off, but, and I guess I could as long as I catch all the edge in there. So maybe I'll do that. It does kind of bug me. So since I'm going to encase that edge there, it's going to be fine. I'm going to go a little below my zipper like this, line it up. And mine's really long because remember I shortened my rise, and I'm just going to cut it off at the top in a second. Doesn't matter right now. I'd like to wait until I'm about to put my waistband to do, so. All right, so, and double stitch. I don't know if I'm going to double stitch that. I don't remember if I do that. Oh yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Left front, zip to right front extension and top stitch, zip to left front and double stitch, top zip fly curve, add shield. Oh, so I'm supposed to add the shield after the curve. Oh, okay. That's what it is. Okay. Well, let's see. Can I do that without removing it? I think I can. I can. So this is what it's looking like on the inside. But you know, I think that having the pocket, I'm actually not going to finish this because I think right now I want my pockets to go in there. So I'm going to leave it right here because we're going to assemble the pockets and then slip them under there. And I'm doing this in the reverse order. I did the fly before I did my pockets. So, and you guys suffered along with me pretty good there. I feel like the beginning was a little more productive of the stream today because we talked so much about sizing and did all the charts and the comparisons, and then you struggled to watch me do some zipper flies that could have been a little bit better, but you know, it is what it is. So I hope that we got something out of this. I'm going to stop it here. And then Saturday, we'll put on our pockets. Hopefully I didn't pickle myself into a corner where I can't get those pockets under there. But you know me, I can figure out something to make it work. And then if you have any questions about sizing or fit or grading, let me know. We went over the terms for Brooke because she had asked about that. And I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. And I will see you on Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific. And if you really want to sew zipper fly, I recommend watching my video on that, not this one. If you like, I did do the whole front assembly on my other Ginger Jeans video, so there's that. So, and you can always fast forward through the rewatch of it. So if you want to see any of this, you can just fast forward through it. So. All right, guys, have a fabulous rest of your week. I know it's only Tuesday. I really appreciate you coming on a Tuesday and eat all the gravy and cranberry sauce and pumpkin pie for me because I will be eating those things as well. So take care. Good luck. Hug your family right now because that's how I'm feeling lately. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Bye for now.